I have always believed that going on a vacation together strengthens family bonds. The warm sea, sandy beaches, and cozy evenings in cafes create new experiences and bring a touch of romance to a couple's getaway. These were the emotions I anticipated when planning a joint vacation with my wife. However, the reality turned out to be a bit different. Both Olivia and I were dedicated to our careers. We understood the importance of professional growth and worked hard to achieve our goals. When we first met, my wife was living in Moscow, having moved from Gelendzhik. She shared a rented room with two other girls and worked as a waitress to make ends meet in the bustling capital. After we got married, she moved in with me, and with the help of my connections as a bank manager, I assisted her in securing a job as a secretary in an office. Unfortunately, our busy schedules often prevented us from going on vacations together. Our vacation times rarely aligned, and as a result, my wife would often go on trips alone, visiting her mother in Gelendzhik. She would return home refreshed, relaxed, and filled with joy. At times, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of envy, and I longed to experience a vacation with her. After negotiating with our respective employers, I finally succeeded in coordinating our summer vacation. Excitedly, I suggested to my wife, "Why don't we visit your mother in Gelendzhik? I've never been there before, and you always speak so fondly of it." However, she responded, "No, I want to go somewhere else, perhaps to Turkey." I persisted, explaining that we had already been to Turkey, but had not yet had the chance to visit her hometown together. "A vacation in Gelendzhik would be an opportunity for me to see where you grew up and experience it with you," I said. Olivia seemed unenthusiastic, insisting that Gelendzhik would be boring and suggesting other destinations like Anapa or Sochi. Perplexed, I asked, "I don't understand. You're always eager to visit Gelendzhik, but you don't want to go there with me. How can I make sense of this?" Frustrated, I added, "Don't be difficult. I'm starting to have doubts." Eventually, I managed to convince my wife to go to her hometown. Her mother was thrilled at the prospect of us visiting together, welcoming us with open arms. I found Gelendzhik to be a lovely city with a vibrant promenade and beautiful beaches. We spent our days exploring the area, enjoying each other's company, and savoring the much-needed vacation. However, after a few days, my wife started receiving frequent calls from acquaintances who had learned of her presence in town. They invited her to various gatherings, prompting her to leave me for a few hours to meet up with them. For some unknown reason, she never contacted me once, which made me start to wonder who these friends were. I couldn't understand why she received so many calls, and why she never invited me to join her. Whenever I questioned her about it, she became tense and evaded the conversation, coming up with various excuses as to why we couldn't go together. Her behavior raised suspicion in me, so I decided to ask my mother-in-law if she knew anything about these meetings. Although she didn't reveal any details, she admitted that Olivia always met someone when she returned home. This made me more determined to meet her friends with her, but she abruptly stopped going out on her own after that. We began spending our evenings together, but my wife's mood was noticeably off, and she constantly appeared anxious while glancing at her phone. It was during one of these evenings that I made the decision to occasionally check her cell phone, and an opportunity presented itself when Olivia was taking a shower. I delved into her phone and discovered some unsent text messages. Unfortunately, I couldn't read the entire conversation as it seemed she had been deleting them. However, she must have overlooked the last part. It was a conversation with a man, and he asked her why she had been avoiding meeting him. Her reply indicated that she couldn't because of her husband. He expressed how much he missed her and urged her to find a way to see each other. Just from this small portion of the messages, I could already deduce the nature of these meetings with her so-called friends. I immediately confronted my wife with my findings and demanded an explanation. "Yes, he's my friend, a former classmate," Olivia said with tension in her voice. "He doesn't seem like just a friend to me." "This conversation suggests something more than platonic," I argued. "Don't make things up." "That's why I knew it was better for us not to come here together," she responded defensively. "Don't take me for a fool. I figured it all out. Your mother confirmed that you're always meeting someone, so this is a regular occurrence. Just be honest," I said firmly. pressed further, my spouse finally confessed to cheating. It turned out that every time she returned home on vacation, she would meet her lover. She justified her actions by claiming that he showered her with attention, and she couldn't resist it. She also admitted that she didn't have the strength to cut off contact with him because she was heavily invested in the affair. I couldn't bring myself to forgive Olzia. I asked her to move out of the apartment, and we filed for divorce. Her salary was insufficient to afford rent in Moscow and live comfortably, so I had to return to my mother in Gelendzhik, even though she had always dreamed of living in the capital. She had hoped to build a relationship with her lover, but he rejected her, as he had no interest in anything serious. I completely cut her out of my life. It turns out that a joint vacation can turn from paradise into a nightmare.